Hi, this is Christopher D. Ux, and today we'll be taking a listen to a portion of my latest novel, My Friend Jackson. It's the story of Jasmine Price, an inner city teen who is the target of emotional, physical, and cyber abuse at the hands of her new school's queen bees. With her parents mostly absent, Jasmine latches onto Bibi, a grandmotherly figure from Tanzania, and her beloved pet chameleon, Jackson. Back at school, rivalries, jealousies, and hatred escalate the violence toward Jasmine to a murderous level until a monstrous force intervenes on Jasmine's behalf with deadly consequences. Shocked by the nightmarish event, she discovers the secret behind her unholy avenger. Emboldened by her new unearthly ally, Jasmine takes the offensive, becoming a merciless force far more terrifying than her worst tormentors. But choices have consequences, some more horrific than others. My Friend Jackson has received the coveted 5-star award from readers' favorites and has gotten rave reviews from book bloggers as well. So let's dig in, shall we? Let's start with a scene from Chapter 2, where Bibi introduces Jackson to Jasmine. Before her eyes, it changed from dull steel gray to a tantalizing luminescent green that brightened the whole window. "Cool, did you see that?" Jasmine blurted with wonder. "It changed colors. What is it?" "A chameleon. He changes colors all the time. That's how he communicates. Well, one of the ways." Bibi shook her head as though to shake away a mental cobweb, before her gentle smile returned. "Green means he's well fed." "Where did you get it?" Him." "Oh, he came with me from my home when Mr. Fieldings brought me to America. We're not to bring such things through customs, you understand. But there he was, hiding in Mr. Fielding's suitcase, curled around a leather belt. In my country he's called a Kinyonga, but my Bibi named him Rojo Kinyonga Milin." Bibi's jaw shut with a clack loud enough to make Jasmine's own teeth ache. "Ah, I beat my tongue." Bibi dabbed her mouth with a finger, inspecting it for blood. "Oh, it makes no matter what we called him. I doubt you could pronounce it anyway." "Whatever name you come up with, it won't make no never mind to him," she said with a nervous titter. With a smile and her look, she added, "Now hold out your arm." Jasmine's left arm floated up from her side as though it had a mind of its own. Bibi lifted the marimba and screen off the cage and dug her hand into the leafy tapestry. "Come on out now, you little trickster. Say hello to Jasmine properly." Jasmine scrunched up her face, giggling with trepidation, as the chameleon latched on like slow-motion handcuffs. Two rear claws clamped on her wrist, and a thick sandpaper tail coiled slowly around her thumb. Front claws the size of a quarter grasped either side of her arm near her elbow. "Ooh, that feels weird," Jasmine warbled as a thrill ran up her back. She raised her left arm to look the chameleon straight in the eyes. One of them, anyway. "Hello there," she said with a bashful snicker. The curious lizard flashed to a full radiant yellow. "Oh-ho, he's taken a shine to you," Bibi said between chortles. "Yellow means he's happy." As the creature inched past Jasmine's left elbow, its plodding, methodical gait mesmerized her. She thought it might even be smiling at her. "He ate a huge fly just now. What else do they eat?" "All sorts of things, child. Bugs, worms, snails, even hummingbirds, the poor dears." Bibi's head drooped to stare at an end table piled with knickknacks, bookended by a pair of framed photographs. Her smile sagged to a thoughtful frown. "All sorts of things," she trailed off wistfully, ending with a hitch in her voice. Bibi stood silently, her shoulders sagging. Glum as a funeral mourner, she seemed to age 10 years. She took a step toward the table, her shaky hand reaching behind a framed picture of a young man dressed in a graduation gown and mortarboard. Jasmine smiled with recognition at Bibi's son, his broad, toothy smile spreading ear to ear under high cheekbones that were unmistakably his mother's. From behind that photograph, Bibi pulled another picture, a faded photo of memories past, bordered by a black walnut frame. Jasmine tried to snatch a peek of the photo, but Bibi held it close to her heart, and the beginnings of a sob made her bosom twitch. The chameleon's eyes flitted, pointing backward, fixed on the black picture frame. His foreclaws pinched Jasmine's arm, and the serrated ridge along his back stood at attention while it shifted to a mottled red. She blinked at Bibi with concern. "What's wrong?" The weathered woman placed the frame face down on its table. Her momentary sadness vanished, replaced by a stern gaze that pressed her lips flat and bloodless. "Nothing, little one." And just as quickly, her steely mask was whisked away with a sniff of her nose and a click of her tongue. Look at me, getting all mushy when you have a bus to catch, and I still have to lay my hands on my purse." Her voice faded as she disappeared into her kitchenette, as small as Ma's, but with touches of bright colors that made it happier and homier. Jasmine nearly jumped out of her socks when something gripped her other arm. Looking down, Jasmine blurted, "What the—" The chameleon had moved. His head rested on the back of her right hand, and his tail wrapped around her elbow. Jasmine winced as the lizard's claws pinched her forearm. His vibrant yellow and red hide had transformed to a blue so brilliant it seemed to contain its own light. "How did you switch to my other arm?" she said with a startled laugh. "What was that you said, child?" came Bibi's carefree reply from the kitchen, between the clatter of utensils being shuffled about. "I said he somehow moved to my other arm while I wasn't looking," Jasmine called out, craning her neck toward Bibi's voice, but keeping her eyes riveted on the curious lizard. Bibi emerged out of the kitchen, all smiles and dropping a small purse into her lioness handbag. Her familiar laugh rang out. "Oh, you'll find that trickster can do some amazing things." She skidded to an abrupt stop. Stark eyes like ping-pong balls fused on the sapphire-hued lizard. Jasmine's own smile fizzled. She tentatively raised her wobbly arm toward Bibi while she glanced between the chameleon and the old woman. Clearing her throat with a tremulous note of uncertainty, she asked, "What does blue mean?" "Well, I think I'll stop right there. Are you interested? My Friend Jackson is available for pre-order right now, until October 1st, when both the Kindle and trade paperback versions are available. And don't forget, when you finish reading, file a review on Amazon.com and you'll be entered in a drawing to receive an autographed copy of my next book. And by the way, if you have read my previous books, Pimmelbrith of Lenland and If I Can't Sleep, You Can't Sleep, file a review for either one of them before October 1st, and you'll be entered to get an autographed copy of My Friend Jackson. So, happy reading, and be sure to visit all my social media platforms listed here. I hope to see you soon at a sci-fi or book convention near you. Well, near me at least.